Hey guys, so I made a bunch of videos like this in the past of things I wish I had been told before going to music school, and I've made one about after music school. And I want to continue the after music school trend because I made that video about 2 years ago and a lot has changed since then. And I want to talk about that. The first thing, and it seems really obvious, is that your relationships will change. And that's not a bad thing, but fighting to keep something alive just because you think you need it or you feel safe isn't worthwhile. And that's not just romantic relationships, it's also personal friendships and even family. I've found that certain members of my family are a little less supportive than I'd like them to be, and I kind of just have to smile and nod and move forward. And that's not my immediate family, they're incredible and they have been incredibly supportive and they watch these videos, so I have to say this. But I have found that some of my relationships have really suffered, and I tried to hang on to them because I cared about these people and I found that relationship as a safety net. But in the end, when I let it go, it made me happier and it made me feel better because I wasn't fighting for something that really wasn't worth fighting for anymore. And that's a really difficult realization to come to, and all of us will always fight for relationships that really shouldn't be fought for. If you feel incredibly conflicted, like you're not sure whether this is worth it, really do take a step back and see if it is, because that emotional energy is incredibly important and can also be directed somewhere very different that will have much more productive and exciting situations. The second thing is it's really hard to actually meet people. I'm so used to the music school system where you're just kind of forced into knowing people because you go to school with them and you go play with them and you play in ensembles. And moving here and freelancing and knowing just a few people and working full time, I found that it's very difficult to make friends that I didn't already have. And that's something that I'm still actually really addressing because I only recently realized that I have like 4 people. But I found that it didn't really feel like I lived here because I didn't really know anyone. I didn't really have connections here, and that was because I didn't really have friends that I made here. And so making an effort to go out and do things, and not necessarily to like bars and things like that, but like I am trying to find a Dutch culture organization or like a Dutch conversation group so that I can, 1, speak more Dutch, and 2, meet more people who have similar interests. And just trying to make an effort to actually meet people and engage with them, and then also follow up. Make sure that I'm actually maintaining relationships that I've established so that I'm actually making friends and not just like acquaintances that I continue to not actually see. The next thing, and I mean, I've talked about this a ton of times, is that it's terrifying to do things that no one else has ever done. And I'm the kind of person who doesn't really like to be a follower. I like to be the one that's initiating the situation, and I like to be the one that's doing the thing that no one else has done. But it's also terrifying when no one else has done it before and no one can help you. And what I've come to learn is that everyone around you can help you, it just has to be applied correctly. Everyone that you meet and that you interact with and that you work with has information that you can use to better yourself and better your projects. You just have to find the ways to apply it. There are so many organizational things that I've learned from other people, especially people who run new music ensembles and who run festivals, where I kind of have a better idea of how to run my own, essentially, festival. It's just over a year and with only 1 person at a time. And I've also learned more about technology and about recording and everything like that through asking other people and really just listening to what other people had to say. And I've been really lucky that I've had some people kind of as a sounding board for a lot of the things that I want to do. There's some people that I know, if I have an idea, I can go to them and we can flesh it out, and maybe it won't turn into exactly the same idea in the end, but it will be better because they know me, they know what I want to do, they know my interests, and they also have their own ideas and their own experiences to help color what I can do. For example, in January, I was down at University of Illinois doing a 24-hour concert with them. And that started off as like a crazy marathon concert idea, which turned into like a community concert idea with more students at University of Illinois, which turned into this 24-hour concert, which was one of the best things I've done this year. I really, really enjoyed it. And it was a lot of fun to work with the students there as well, and from what I've heard, it's had a really big impact on their community as well, and that's really exciting. And that whole situation happened with like me and a friend talking on Facebook about this slightly stupid idea that both of us kind of came up with at the same time. And so having those people to bounce my ideas off of is really important. And that's also why having a community here and not just on the internet is really important to me, and something that I've realized that I need to address a little bit more. So basically what I'm saying is that the people that are around you are incredibly important, and surround yourself with the best people that you can. And friendships don't have to be lifelong. And I think that's something that is really hard to realize sometimes, and is something that even now I don't really like to admit. The moral of the story is your friends are really important, and pick them wisely, and don't be afraid to let them go if the friendship has run its course. So I hope this is kind of helpful in some way. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you're new here, subscribe. If you want to support me more, check out my Patreon, and I will see you guys on Thursday.